Hey everybody, welcome back to Kimball's Corner. I'm Kimball, and today I'm going to finish up where we left off on the last live. I'm going to finish the Small Victories coloring page in Johanna Basford's Small Victories adult coloring book. It was this one, where I'm using different colored pencils for each of the different images. And so I'm going to pick up where we left off, and I'm going to be using the Lyra Color Giants. There's like the little swatches. So we'll do that one, and then I'm also going to be using Caran Luminance. Lovely, right? And also I'll be using the Castle Arts, I think it's the Gold 120, and whew, there's the swatches. And there's the pencils. A little hard to hold them both up at the same time. So yes, I have my cup of coffee, in my kitty cup, obviously. So let's have our drinks and do a little coloring, shall we?
And it's voiceover Kimball here. So we're gonna start coloring with the Lyra Color Giants. I think this is actually the first time I've used these other than doing swatches. So it was fun. It was a little bit of a challenge, especially trying to get that point on that big old thick lead, let me tell you. But it's doable, and it was definitely, they were comfortable to hold, which was actually really nice. Basically, I'm pressing a little bit harder closer to the body of the butterfly and just kind of lightening the pressure as I move away. And then I switch to the berry color. When coloring these, I'm not really doing shading per se, I am just doing gradients. And so I'm starting with the darkest purple near the body, and then I move to like the berry color for the center part, and then I'll switch to like that neon pink for the tips. I'll try and keep my talking to a minimum. Really, there isn't much to say. It's kind of self-explanatory as you're watching what I'm doing, so hopefully if you have questions, they'll be answered by what I'm doing, or hopefully I'll mention it sometime throughout the video. If not, please feel free to leave a comment and ask away. I will do my best to answer it. Last week I used the Prismacolors, the Jane Davenport, and the Derwent colored pencils during the live, and I'd mentioned that things were getting a little bit busy for Rocky, so he wasn't really going to have time to do the lives with us for a while. So I do apologize if you wanted me to color this live, but I like doing the lives with him. It's a little more stressful when I do it by myself, so I figured I would just do this as a video and finish up what we started. I love that pink color. I wish it would show up a little bit better on camera because it is a little more vibrant than that, but it is pretty accurate, but it just a touch more vibrant. I do love my bright neon colors. Oh, and I'm not going to show you everything, and I'm not speeding through anything, but basically I'll color one half and then I'll just kind of skip coloring the other half of the wings. And I kind of do that throughout the entire piece just to save time, because if you've seen me do it on one side, there's no sense in me repeating it on the other. You can just do the exact same thing I did on one side as the other. That sounds confusing and wordy. Anyway, I'm doing the same kind of thing here where I'm just blending out from dark to light. I really don't have a shadow. I don't have like a light source or anything. There's no shadows per se. So it's just a lot of lights and darks, just making gradients. So I used a dark teal, and I'm going over the top with like a lighter aqua color, which kind of gets rid of the gradient quite a bit. Those colors are quite similar in tone, so I think I add a darker blue to this one. It's been a while since I colored these. Yeah, I think right here I go in. I just wanted to deepen it up a little bit more and make it a little bit richer. Got myself another cup of coffee. Hope you have yourself a drink. I really liked how these pencils layered. I'll save what my favorites are for the end, but these ones did work well. Another thing I like to do, and you'll notice this in all of the pieces, is that I like to repeat colors throughout the whole image. And even if I need to mix a color, I might, or even if I needed to maybe get a purple or something, I could just mix like the pink and the blue and then get a shade of purple. I try not to bring in too many different colored pencils. I try to create as many colors as I can with what I have. And just going over that blue color with the more turquoise color. Just because I want it to match the little bits of the wings up above. And then doing another repeat of the colors. This is just that darker teal, and I'm just coloring solid. A nice firm pressure on the pencil to get like good solid coverage. Using the berry color, and I'm starting off with a firmer pressure, and then I get lighter and lighter as I get to the center of the wing. Because I want to mimic what I did to the other wings, and I'm going to use like the light pink going over it. Just to mimic that gradient. And since I'm not doing any shading with a light source of any kind, I'm basically separating the shapes with color. So I try not to color things that are, I try not to use the same color I try not to color shapes next to each other with the same color, so I'm trying to separate everything by using color. Using the pink to separate the wings, and then that turquoise to separate the pinks. It's just a fun little game of picking where the colors are going to go, and I'm sure most of you do this as well. A nice little diamond back butterfly. A pink diamond back. Always adding gradients in where I can. Gradients are fun to do, and it's also just like an easy way to enhance the look of something without having to do too much work. Here I am using the browns. I don't think I actually grabbed a green color in this set. I'm not sure why. I decided to do the leaves a little more autumnal. So I started off with like that brownish color, and I just started dark at the base and lightened as I went up with less pressure. And then I just go over with the orange, and I do the same thing as I kind of fade the orange out as it gets closer to the top. And then I will bring in a warm yellow. I tried to grab two versions of each color. So this is a warm yellow as opposed to like a bright lemon yellow. And this is it's a little bit of a warmer tone, a little more golden, and it blends in with the orange a little bit nicer. So basically I just want to show you that leaf, and I'll show you one more, and then we kind of skip the rest of them, because I am just doing the same thing over and over again. I find that repetition is also nice when doing a drawing with a lot going on. Even though these are small images, there is still a lot going on. Like Johanna Basford put a lot of detail into these. It's magic, they're done. So I didn't want to do all of them, like the brown and golds and oranges. So I'm doing in the blues, and I don't have, like I said, I didn't have a green. So I'm using like the darker turquoise with the aqua, and then just going over the top with the yellow to make it a nice lime green color. And I do this for a few of the leaves. I think I show you one more time and then we just kind of skip to the end when they're all done. Oh no, actually I think I go in and I color all the dark blue first. That way I know what leaves I'm coloring. Because there's still going to be another color of leaf coming up. So now I'm going in and doing all of the light aqua color. And then we just do the yellow over top and get that limey green color. And I figured while I had the yellow out, I just color in these little sparkly things and color in the star. And his antenna, which I don't think I leave the antenna just yellow, but we'll see. Anyway, so I'm bringing in the neon pink, and yes, I could just color these with an orange, but using the neon pink with the yellow almost gives it like a little bit of a neon orange color. It does work better with some other products, but it did work well enough with these ones. We're done, thumbs up. So those were the Lyra Color Giants. A lot of fun to use. Now we're going to move on to the Caran Luminance. I think it's Luminance 1609. Sorry, Luminance 6901. I just saw it on the pencil. So now we're going to move into the Luminance 6901. Anybody know why they're called 6901? I have no idea. I guess I could look that up myself, but I'm lazy. Anyway, just like we did with the first butterfly, I'm starting dark near the body and we're gradating out. Is gradating a word? It is. Now I used it in a sentence. So yes, I bring it out to this beautiful aqua color. I really liked the way these ones blended together. They did feel a little different. Like I'm used to like Prismacolors, how they glide on paper a little bit more just because they're waxy. This one I'm pretty sure is very oil-based, but it doesn't, I don't know how to say it, it doesn't glide as smoothly, but it's not like hard to move it across the paper. It's just a different feel. And if you've used Prismacolors and these pencils, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about in the difference of how they slide across the paper. Oh, I was just rubbing, it had a little bit of red on the tip of the yellow, so I was just wiping it off with my thumb. Love adding just like a little bit of yellow. It warms it up, adds a little interest. Did the same thing to the other wing, and now we're moving on to orange. I am a huge lover of playing around with complementary colors, so bringing in the orange into the blue kind of reminds me of growing up in Boise. Like our BSU was orange and blue college. Our college BSU had orange and blue as their colors. Did I go there? No, I did not. Anyway, I'm just coloring dark. I'm pressing a little firmer where the lines were to get like a richer orange, and then just going over top with yellow. And then leaving the space in the middle, just a little bit of the white of the paper shining through, just so it's a little bit lighter in the center, and then I'll go over that little bit with white. I just wanted the wing to have like a little translucent, almost like it's a little window. And the white kind of tones down the yellow and helps it have a little more see-through vibe. And then just pressing firmly with the orange. Oh my god, I could not help but see a goofy little face in the tips of these wings with like funky teeth. Funky teeth and wonky eyes. Like that's all I see when I look at the tips of those wings. And again, using color to separate the shapes as opposed to shading. And also mimicking what I did earlier with the wings, like going from the dark blue and then fading it out to the turquoise, or the light aqua color. And then coming in with the orange for the body of the, I'm pretty sure that's a moth, right? It's a moth, we'll say it's a moth. I think technically they're both moths. I think I called the first one a butterfly, but whatever. Bugs, am I right? Anyway, just bringing the orange down, keeping it darker richer near the body of the moth, and then having it fade out, and it'll fade out to a yellow. And then that way it kind of looks like it's like you can see through the wings, like you can see the body through the wings. Maybe, kinda, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Now that we got the body done, I was like, well, okay, it needs a little more interest, so I'm just adding dots. I mean, hello, why not? Polka dots, am I right? Fashion forward. And again, just blocking in color. Trying to separate the shapes using color, and then also doing that repetitiveness of repeating gradations and colors throughout the entire piece. It just makes it feel a little more cohesive. And then I colored this parts like I did the tips of the wings, where I went from like the pale aqua into a yellow. Does anybody else hold other colored pencils while they're working? Is that just me? I can't be the only one. And then I wanted to do like a little berry colored, pink colored flower, so like as usual, starting dark near the base of the petals, and then fading them out to get a little bit lighter. And then I just go over top with like the pale pink. And it kind of dulled down the contrast a bit. Like it made it a little less contrast than I wanted, so at the end, well, right here, I go in, I just kind of circle around the center with the dark color, and it amps up the contrast a little bit. Give it a nice yellow center, and then warm up a couple of the petals with that yellow, just on the tips. And now I wish I would have brought that pink color up to where these flowers are, but whatever, I don't regret it. It would have been nice to carry that color up there, but I do it a different way later. So just going in, doing the same thing, repeating the dark blue to light turquoise. And then I didn't want to use a purple, so like I said earlier, like I'll use the colors that I have to mix colors. So I'm using this to get like a dark purple. I'll go over top of it with this berry color, and it's almost black, but it's a very dark, rich purple. And I do have a purple in these colored pencils, but I wanted to use the colors that I'm already using because they will look more natural and more comfortable with the colors as a whole. And I'm just slowly lightening this as I go up with less pressure, and then I'll go over top. Just like with the flower, I'm going to start with like the dark berry color, and then it'll gradate to like a nice pink and maybe a little bit of yellow. But it's a way to show that like that pink flower is kind of blooming around this whole piece. Like all the little pink blooms are coming from the flower. I just love adding yellow. It always gives like a warmness. It always gives a little bit of a glow. I don't know what it is, but yellow. I used to not like it, not gonna lie. I go through my phases of liking and disliking colors. Yellow was at the top of the dislike many years ago, but now it is at the top of the colors that I do like. Do you guys do that? Do you go through phases of colors that you do and don't like? As of right now, pink, aqua, and yellow are like my favorite combinations. And again, just radiating that pink color coming from the flower. And then I decided to use a green, and like I have been doing before, start dark at the base and lighter pressure as you work up the leaf. And I think I just come in with yellow, yeah. Just do yellow over top. And just like that, we're done. Yay! I just gave myself a thumbs up. Oh my god. Go voiceover Kimball. Thumbs upping your own work. Anyway, so with the frog, I couldn't see the frog anything other than green, so whatever, I picked a couple of green colors, and starting with my darker one. Oh, sorry, we've moved on to the Castle Arts colored pencils, by the way. And I'm just kind of shading under where his body is, and then like his leg folds, so you can I'm kind of just using that as like a guide as to where my shadows are going to be. Since he is kind of a 3D object, he's not flat like the back of like the moth wings, so I'm trying to give him a little bit of depth. And then I'll just go over the dark green with this like middle green and kind of drag the color out a little bit further, covering up a little bit more of the white. And then eventually I'll go over, you could go over top with white if you want those colors, but I eventually go over with yellow. And then I just use this color to color in his little webbed footing areas. But coloring over the darkest parts of the green and then dragging the color out just a little bit more to cover up some more of the white of the paper. And then at the end you can just go over it yellow. Or you can go over white if you want it to stay a little more green and not yellow. Really up to you. Lots of options. So one thing I love about coloring, and also one thing I hate about coloring, is that there are so many options. Coloring all those little dots in yellow. And then I figured the frog, he's kind of like a ball, so I'm just doing dark around the edges. And I'll work my way up, getting lighter and lighter as I get to the top of his back. Coming in with the mid-tone green. It's almost a lighter green, but we're going to call it a mid-tone green for this. And just, again, going over the dark areas with it and then dragging it out and bringing that color out a little bit further into the white area. Not being so cautious around the yellow circles anymore since it's already a light yellowy green. And then we'll just, excuse me, and then we'll just color over top with the yellow. And I kind of decided, okay, obviously like the yellow dots kind of disappeared on his back, so I decided to go in with the dark green and just darken them up a little bit, just on the top part where the yellow is. And our little froggy is done. And then I decided to color the back petals on this one like purple to pink. I wanted them to be a little bit darker than the petals on top. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it is really coming down outside. It's very nice up in the loft listening to the rain. Except for when I'm recording, but whatever. And then I'm just doing pink over the top leaves. They're a little bit lighter. Just to help give a little separation between the petals. Obviously I have to come in with yellow. I'm obsessed with yellow, what can I say? It turned it a little more orange than I wanted it to, so I do come back in with a pink and I just tone it down a little bit. It's not terribly noticeable, but it does tone down like that neon edge that the yellow gives the petals. And then over here I'm just going purple, trying to keep the same colors on the page and like balancing them out. Because it would have been a little weird just having like the pink and purple on the left and then a different color flower on the right. It would have looked out of place, like your eye would have been drawn to one or the other. This just makes it a little more harmonious, balancing the colors throughout the whole image. And then the water, I figured I would just do it darker underneath him and the lily pads and whatnot, just because they would cast shadows. So not really doing too much in the way of shading, just keeping it dark near his body, and then having it kind of get lighter and lighter as it gets out towards the edges of the image. And I kind of wish I would have done backgrounds for all of them, and I may eventually, but not right now because this boy is lazy. And then I just come in with like a little bit lighter blue, and again I color over the dark blue, and then I bring that lighter blue color out even further into the white. That's how I do gradations. I'm sure everyone has their own way of doing it, but that's how I do it. And then once I am done with this color, I come in with my lightest blue and I kind of just fade it out as best I can to the white of the paper. Although technically this paper is like a cream color, to the cream of the paper. If it was like a bright white, I could use the white colored pencil and like really blend it out to white, but there was no need. And I don't know about you, but all I could see when I looked at the lily pads was citrus fruit. All I could see was citrus fruit. So went in with orange. We make them all oranges. I think I do like 2 blood orange and then the rest are just regular oranges. I could not help myself. It is all I could see. Plus the orange and blue are nice complements, so it works out. But I basically did the same thing with the water where I kept the color darker and richer closer to the frog's body and then just kind of faded out. And then on this one, I add a little bit of texture. I don't know why, just 'cause, I guess. Can really color however you want. And then I come in with like this yellow ochre and just color over everything. And then I felt like it lost a little bit of the contrast, so I came in with like this darker orangier brown color and just darkening up around like the frog's body and where the slices kind of overlap each other. And then just adding a little interest to this one with a little bit of a darker color, but not too much. And then even using a darker brownish orangey red color, just decided I'm gonna make blood oranges for these ones. So again, keeping it dark up close to the frog's body where the shadow is, and then just coloring in the shapes the same way the line work is. So kind of like a radiating pie, I don't know how to describe it. I'm just following along the lines that Johanna had put in there. That way if any texture does show up, it does look kind of like an orange slice. At least in my mind, you know, make it work. Finish it off with the gold, or the cadmium yellow, as it says right there on the pencil. But basically, I wanted to not have orange all around the frog, like the bright orange, so that's the only reason I brought in like this darker color, is just to mix it up a little bit, but keep it in the same family of oranges. Coloring a little shadow under his arm, and then bringing in the orange and bringing out the colors. You know how I do. Coloring in, following the lines of the pie shape. For the most part, I do get a little lazy sometimes, but for the most part, following that pie shape. Or like, you know, the slice of an orange shape. And then come on in with yellow and we'll finish it off. And then for these little mini lily pads, I just color them solid colors. And I try not to color the same color next to each other. Sometimes it can't be helped. And then I just come in with like the light green and fill in the other ones. And then just like that, it's done. Yay, thumbs up. So there are all the pencils that I used and the finished piece. Well, thumbs up again, Kimball, good job. And there's the finished piece. I could have brought all the pencils in, but I was far too lazy. But there they all are, close-ups, and I wrote down what pencils I used. And I would say that Prismas are still my favorite, but I think the Caran Dash comes in second place, because they were quite lovely. And then, gosh, I don't know. But yeah, Caran Dash was nice. I mean, the price reflects the quality, I will say that. Although Castle Arts are pretty inexpensive and they were good. Derwent, I should have added more colors to that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Bye!